Do-do-do. Long live King Trump. Please drop likes. I'm waiting for one of my channel members or mods to join, because there are none currently. Interestingly enough. Wow, dude. New video shows man setting fire to governor's residence. That's not true. No one's calling the phone number, by the way. No one.
We are getting a window into
This text message leak is crazy, by the way. Okay. These messages from Republican staffers, like top Republican staffers, are crazy. There are some wild people on the left, but the people on the left are like super far left and don't vote Democrat. They don't even work for the party typically. But the crazies on the far right run the Republican Party and the federal government right now, and their staffers had these messages leaked today. They're really crazy, saying they love Hitler, they love abusing women, it's really funny to them, a bunch of other crazy things.
We are getting a window into how a new generation of Republican activists talk when they think no one's listening, and it's really ugly. Politico obtained more than 7 months of Telegram chat messages between about a dozen young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. Now, MSNBC has not independently reviewed those messages, but what Politico published today shows the conservatives openly praising Adolf Hitler, making celebratory jokes about gas chambers and slavery and rape. For example, when the chair of Arizona Young Republicans asked if the New Yorkers in the chat were watching an NBA playoff game, New York State Republican Chair Peter Junta responded, "I'd go to the zoo if I wanted to watch monkeys play ball." We should note that when Politico asked for comment, the Arizona Young Republican chair.
By the way, I grew up in a 99% white Republican town, 99%, probably like an 80% Trump voting county. They all said jokes like this every time NBA came on in the bar. Like, oh, what are you watching? The monkeys playing the jungle? They said that all the time. Growing up, I heard that nonstop.
Declined. Junta claimed the release of the chat as part of
really
a highly coordinated year-long character assassination led by an opponent, I think a kind of internecine opponent, a fellow conservative. Out of 28,000 messages obtained, Politico identified 251 bigoted epithets in the chat. There were many more outrageous examples of racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, homophobia than we could or would want to repeat here. Here's the thing. These are not like, we're not talking about kids here. The age limit of the group was 40. Many chat members work inside government or party politics. One's a state senator. Another works in Trump's Small Business Administration. Politico reports that since they began making inquiries, at least 4 members of the chat have lost their jobs or had job offers rescinded. Now, this kind of virulent hatred
Whenever they say Hitler was a socialist, by the way, remember, Republicans are the only ones that'll joke lovingly about Hitler. The left would never even mess around with saying that as a joke. If you make a Hitler joke on the left, they will cancel you. Okay, that is a real thing. They are very sensitive to those topics, including like the Confederate flag and everything. Like the Republicans today, are there any Democrats carrying the Confederate flag or flying the Confederate flag? When they say that the Democrats started the KKK, the Democrats started the KKK. Right now, the KKK and the Confederate fans all support Republicans. I'm going to go shut my dryer off.
the chat have lost their jobs or had job offers rescinded. Now, this kind of virulent hatred on display here has become quite familiar in Trump's very online Republican Party. I mean, all you have to do is find it. To find it is open a website called x.com, right? And you can see it everywhere. That one's run by Donald Trump's biggest political donor. Or you can see Trump administration officials and official U.S. government accounts on social media exulting in sadistic edgelord cruelty and celebrating hatred and prejudice. But now it's also becoming clear that the people who are running the Republican Party at the ground level are just immersed in this cesspit of bigotry.
Yeah, dude. Trump quoted Hitler multiple times, not because he cares, okay? It's because the grassroots of the party are like that. The staff writers, the speech writers are like that, bro. They're like that. Trump doesn't know about Hitler's speeches and about poisoning the blood of America, but many people who work for him, they do.
And also, it's not just, abstract. They're acting on it. I mean, this is happening at the staff level during the Republican administration that has been waging a full-scale war on civil rights law from the first day in office. Jelani Cobb is a staff writer at the New Yorker, dean of the Columbia University School.
Ooh, when you see Columbia University, watch out. The government's going to target you over your speech again. Yeah. Crazy stuff, bro. Crazy stuff.
Journalism, author of a new book out today, 3 or More is a Riot, notes on how we got here, a collection of excellent essays. And he joins me now. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
I mean, at some level, this is not surprising.
No.
Particularly because you can kind of see, it all sounds like stuff you see out in the open. Mm-hmm. But it does seem important to me that, to connect,
when the DHS official White House account, when the ICE White House account will post 1488, which is a Hail Hitler dog whistle, when they'll post videos that celebrate beating up immigrants, when they post all these different crazy videos, it's these people posting that. The person in charge of all this propaganda that hates immigrants and loves beating up immigrants, they're not even pro strong border and good immigration system. They are anti immigrants. They are pro ethnic cleansing in America. They just put up a word, remigration. DHS posted remigration to their Twitter today. Remigration is a white nationalist far right calling for ethnic cleansing of a population from a land. Okay, so they're calling for cleansing. It's not about crime. It's not about the economy. They don't like what kind of immigrants come in America, and they want to get rid of them based off who they are, their identity characteristics. No other reason.
Times did this great piece the other day where they were talking about the highest levels of government and all of the officials of color, particularly black officials who have been fired.
That's right.
Lost their jobs.
Yeah.
It's not really an abstraction.
Right.
This kind of bigotry and animus and what this government is currently doing. There, you see it right there.
Yeah, yeah. And also I would add to that, other things that are patently obvious. We have had this incredible repressive attack on immigrants, even people who are in the country legally. These are overwhelmingly people of color who we see being thrown to the ground and yanked out of cars and all these. And at the same time, there's this.
They told one woman that her name sounded too white because she is Latina and adopted. They don't believe her official documentation she had on her, passports, credit cards, health insurance. There's American citizens being targeted here. There was American veteran who was beat up because he's brown as well, because they beat up anyone who looks like an immigrant, and to them, that's anybody. That could be anybody, especially brown, okay, in America.
Curious benevolence toward white South Africans who are invited into the country.
True. Bring in the white South Africans.
Special status.
We could be happy for
how
them.
does that work?
I'm
old enough to remember the alleged S-hole countries. I'm old enough to remember when Hillary Clinton was pilloried for saying that Donald Trump had aligned himself with a set of people who would be considered deplorable. But we see this kind of language, this kind of grab bag
Hillary
of bigotries,
was right.
The kind of dueling homophobia,
I'm not a fan of her,
misogyny,
but she was right. Okay.
Anti-Semitism, racism, all of the kinds of worst traits. And it's been emboldened, has been facilitated by the movement, the Trumpist movement.
One of the things that struck me in reading this piece is, there's all sorts of private chats people have. And people, sure. I want to be clear that, people say things in private that are different than what they say in public.
Sure.
And all signs of people have private communications that would be embarrassing to be made public. But
They
these
say it
people are
publicly.
coordinating this in the context of a shared political project.
Right.
It's not. They're not like talking smack to each other about fantasy football. They are people with power and influence. And it really does strike me that like this idea, it has become an affirmative good. J.D. Vance was just posting like refusing to condemn them. The culture of the right now really does embrace this. It's
Sure.
whatever the opposite of political correctness is in their minds is affirmative cruelty and racism exalted.
Yeah, you remember when we saw the
When Elon Musk made Grok not be woke anymore, okay? And when he said no more woke for Grok, what did Grok do? Grok literally became Mecha Hitler. Literally became Mecha Hitler and started talking about Jewish people and black people and brown people and all these different groups that Hitler would have not liked. But the moment they de-wokeified Grok, we saw what he did. Or not he, but we saw what the AI bot did. Yeah, it's whatever. That one. Okay, never mind. Cool. Dope. Da da da. We said from the beginning that Trump's tariffs would destroy soybean farmers in America, and finally they're waking up, and apparently this one is going to tell us how.
It's designed to not make us whole as farmers, and that's the biggest.
Nice. Are any of my friends here? Please drop a like on the stream. 13 likes. Cool. We told everybody Trump's tariffs would destroy soybean farmers. No, let's say... In Trump's first term, soybean farmers were destroyed by his tariffs because China buys all the soybeans, and now they won't buy them anymore because Trump said F you to China. Now Argentina, a country we are bailing out, sells their soybeans to China instead. So we have no market for soybeans in America, and our farmers are pissed.
The problem that people don't understand is when they hear that farmers are quote unquote getting bailed out, is that we're never made whole by a government payment. A government payment is nothing more than throwing a dollar bill on a spilled glass of milk on your kitchen table. It's designed to not make us whole as farmers, and that's the biggest misnomer of all. We are never made whole. We're lucky if we get 30 cents on the dollar for a program that is designed to make up for a man-made disaster. This is a man-made disaster. This is caused by this administration and their actions, and it is having a negative major consequence on not only farmers, but it's having on American factory workers, because we as farmers, when we have money, we spend it. We buy big ticket items like combines, tractors that are made with American steel, with American jobs, and American wages that people can live on.
So remember also, when all these small farmers can no longer sell anything, the corporate farms can buy them all up. So we're going to have like 1 or 2 corporate farms in America to own all crops, all soybeans. Do you think these small farmers can handle these shocks to their markets that Trump is giving them over and over and over again? This happened the first term. We had to bail out the farmers. And Trump never learns because his supporters don't make him learn. They just listen to his propaganda. They call him Daddy Trump. You know, Daddy Trump's going to come and ruin your economy.
We need farmers to have money again so that people in the Rust Belt states can go back to work. We're laying off people right now. John Deere is laying off people. Case is laying off people. There's no reason for this. This is ridiculous. This is stupid.
Yeah, and that's a really good point too. If you don't have the farmers, and you don't have this market for soybeans, you don't have a market for the equipment either. So everybody that makes the equipment for it, all the companies that'll make all the different machinery you need to use to harvest them and to gather them and to separate them and clean them and everything you need here, that will no longer have a market as well, because these farmers will have no money to buy that equipment. So it kills American manufacturing even further. Trump's man, it's really dumb. It's bad, pathetic Trump soybean attack. We said it was going to happen, but they still voted for him.
We need to get back to work, and we need to put money back into the American economy, and it starts with American agriculture.
Yeah, and Trump said basically, hey guys, we're not going to make you work because I have a little bit of a grudge. I'm really dumb and pathetic, and I want to have a piss fight with China. Therefore, we are going to cut off all markets from China and to China. So when you have no more money left over, we don't care. We'll give you a small little amount of money. We'll give you welfare. We're not gonna let you work. So we're paying people to not do work. We're destroying their businesses. We're destroying the economy. Nothing good is coming from tariffs whatsoever. And they brag about tariff revenues as if it's a good thing. We are the ones paying tariffs. Any heightened tariff revenue is you paying for it. That's your money being collected by the American government in taxes, okay? But if your daddy tells you to like higher taxes and uses a different word like tariffs, you will take it. Nice, dude.
Hello?
Hello, what's up?
Is
This
this
is
the
the
live
politics
show
thing.
or?
Yeah, this is the politics thing.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just wasn't expecting you to call me.
Yeah, we do callbacks because I don't take calls when I react to videos, but I call back after.
Oh, okay, that's fair. So I guess I'll just like preface it by saying I am a conservative. I did vote for Trump, but I don't like everything he does. So I'll just preface whatever we're going to talk about by saying that.
Okay.
I'm not like a blind follower of Trump just because he's the Republican presidential candidate or whatever.
Yeah, he's not a conservative at all. He's not a liberal. He's something
would
totally
agree.
different, so.
I would agree. I think he's more of a populist than anything else. Well, he's gotten
Yeah,
a
or
little bit
a
more
fascist.
away from it, in this term than in his last term. But I'd say overall he's more of a populist or a
Well, typically a very
popularist, as
far
you would
right.
say.
No, not a popularist. He's a populist. So he appeals to working class rhetoric while he steals from the working class, like Mussolini did, like Hitler did, like all the populists of the of our history have done. Now, you could say populist can be like a Bernie Sanders. I wouldn't use that word because I think it's a negative word. But if you mean populism by just speaking in a way that appeals to people, then yeah, like Obama did some populist rhetoric. But Trump thrives solely off populist rhetoric and division and making people angry at each other. He does nothing fundamental to build America up.
Well, when I said popularist, it's actually a direct quote from him in his campaign that he ran in his first term. So I knew that I was saying the word incorrectly technically, but anyway.
Okay, yeah, because in my opinion, he does not follow what's popular whatsoever. He may have said that, but yeah.
Well, I mean, he won the popular vote, so
That doesn't
I mean,
mean,
he
I mean,
does
he
follow
lied to
what's
people to
popular.
win it. His actions are not
Okay,
popular. He doesn't
if I
do
granted-
popular things.
Even if I granted or agreed that he lied to people, it still won the popular vote.
Yeah, but when he gets into office, he does not act on the popular will of the people. A popularist would do that. They don't just a popularist doesn't mean you
Okay.
just win the popular vote. It means when you're in office, you're going to make decisions based off of like polling on what most Americans want you to do. He does not do that whatsoever
so-
with any issue.
All right, so I guess like just what thing would you say that he's gone against popular opinion on?
So Joe Rogan said it very well. Joe Rogan said, if you're gonna go beat up random moms and invade elementary schools and targets and whatever with unidentified federal agents and just beat people up, that's a terrible thing to do. You're heartless. It's gross. You should go after the cartels and all that, but there's no reason to do what they're doing right now in America on ICE. So the idea of like a unidentified agent just beating up random people in America and racially profiling and profiling based off language, that's something that is really, really unpopular, but they just really don't care because they're ideologically driven there.
Okay, well, I would disagree that he's just beating up random women and children on the street and quote unquote invading elementary schools. I don't think that's correct terminology to use. Oh, excuse me. But one thing I will say is, why would racial profiling in the case of illegal immigration be a bad thing?
Because they are constantly pulling aside and detaining American citizens just because they're brown or because they have an
Can
accent.
you name a case of an American citizen that was deported based upon these
Not
illegal
deported,
immigration
not
actions?
deported. I'm talking about federal agents pull up next to you. They demand papers. Even if you have papers on you, they throw you in a van and detain you for at least like 4 or 5 hours, and maybe hopefully they let you go and you don't go to detention. That's what's happening all over
Hopefully,
the
I mean,
place.
can you name a case of where they didn't let someone go that was an American citizen? Or
It's
is
not
this just
about
something you're
letting
imagining?
someone go. The federal government should not be able to pick you up on the basis of your race and detain you
Well,
for
I mean,
no actual cause.
immigration, they actually can ask for your papers. It's totally legal for them to do so.
In my opinion, and in the opinion of most Americans, it's very unpopular and not good for federal agents to be able to just detain any person in America if they think they look like an illegal immigrant, because that can go anywhere.
Well, okay, so if we definitely have an illegal immigration problem in this country. In the last decade, there have been really so many people coming across the border that we really don't know how many there are here.
I really don't
And-
care about numbers of people, to be honest.
Okay.
That's not my main
Okay,
concern.
well-
I care about like crime rate, maybe. You could talk about jobs. You can make some arguments. We could look at data, but the number
Are
of people, they just lie
resources
about it.
infinite? Are resources infinite?
They're definitely not scarce, and immigrants bring more resources to America.
They're not scarce.
No.
So then
Not
what
at
were
all.
the
Not in
Democrats
America.
running on, saying that there's like this huge disparity in wealth and stuff? So you're saying that
Yeah, there's a
resources are not scarce?
disparity. That doesn't mean they're scarce. It means that only like 5 people in America have more money than 150 million people combined.
Okay,
So
but
like,
you don't
so
care.
like for
So-
example, Jeff
Well,
Bezos
but
can
let's- I
have
just- hold on,
100
just hold on
super
one sec. Let me
yachts,
just-
but
hold on.
some
Hold on
veterans
one sec.
cannot afford to eat, right?
Okay, so just hold on one sec. Let's go back. You said you don't care about the number of illegal immigration, of illegal immigrants.
That's
You
not my
don't
main
care about the
concern.
numbers, but the number itself is exactly why there is a problem with it, is the fact that it was so many.
You
And
don't
that's
even know
it's
how many it
gotten to
was.
this
How can you
point.
say it
And
was
the
so many?
problem
How can you say it was
hold
so
on,
many if
can
you
I
don't
just
know?
finish talking before you interrupt me? I'll let you speak. It's fine. Like, I will let you speak. I'm not like a bulldozer or anything. So, I mean, like, the problem with illegal immigration is the number of it. And I don't think that there's really any way to solve the problem and get these people out other than what they're doing. And I think they're doing it within the law.
So I would say that when you're detaining mostly innocent people who maybe overstayed a visa or crossed the border, which is a civil offense, and you're using unidentified federal agents to do so, and they've already blown up multiple American citizens' front doors with explosives. They ransacked an entire apartment building of American citizens, and they found one person who was here illegally. They zip-tied kids. They beat up a bunch of random civilians, American citizens, in Chicago in this apartment raid that happened last week.
They weren't
in my
beating us
opinion.
all. Okay.
Yeah, they were. They were. You can look at the pictures of their apartment building right now. It's a crime what they're
They
doing
weren't
against these
beating up
people.
random people. If there's people that are in their way when they're conducting an operation, impairing them, assaulting them, touching them, getting in their face, making it difficult for them to carry out their job.
No. It was 10 p.m. at night. Okay, 10 p.m. at night.
Oh.
They dragged kids out of their beds.
Okay.
American citizen kids.
If I, as an American citizen, have a child and I get arrested for a DUI, is my kid going to be pulled out of my car?
You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm saying
No, I do,
American
but I just don't
citizens.
thi- it's
No,
just not
the
that,
analogy
what
would
you're
be.
saying.
The
Like, you're saying
analogy
that
would
they're
be.
beating up random people, like they're just going around.
The analogy. Yes,
looking
they
at
are.
brown people trying
Yeah.
to. Just
Yeah.
because, yeah,
That's what they're
no,
doing.
They're not.
Yeah.
They're,
If you let me
Okay,
finish,
well,
Mr. Let you finish. Yeah, I see how soon you forgot about that because it's not playing in your favor at this point in the conversation. That's why it's not good to be a whiny bitch in the conversation. But when we talk about this apartment building, the analogy would be if you live in an apartment building and someone across from you, across the hall, ICE wants to say, oh, we think that person is illegally in America. The analogy would be they now blow up your front door and take your family out in handcuffs to make sure you're not illegally here.
Well, okay, let's just say, for example, I live in an apartment building. The neighbors across from me, ICE thinks they're illegal. And then they come to my door too, and they try and question me about my papers and my illegality. Sure, you can check all my fucking papers.
They did
I'm
not
legally
question.
here.
No, they violated the Constitution and blew up people's front doors and drug
How?
them out in zip
Which part
ties.
of the
You could look up.
Constitution
You
did
could
they
look it up.
violate?
Searches and
No, I'm
seizures.
asking you. You
Yeah,
said they
searches and
violated the
seizures. You can't just go in
Constitution.
someone's
Which
house without a warrant. Searches and seizures. You can't just unjustly punish somebody by putting your kids into a van with zip ties. American citizens for no reason. There's no process or whatsoever in obtaining any kind of warrant or anything.
Are you saying that federal officers can't detain American citizens?
Federal officers cannot just go inside anybody's home and blow up the front door and rip them out of their home because they feel like it.
Can you show an example of where a federal officer blowed up somebody's front door?
That's what happened in the Chicago apartment building.
They blew up someone's front door with explosives?
They
Like, what do
raided
you
an
mean?
entire apartment building. They were tear gassing. They were using saws. They were using explosives. An entire apartment building that was 99% American citizens.
Yeah, I'd have to. I mean, like, I'm not familiar with this thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
I would, like, pardon me if I don't necessarily believe or take everything that you're saying at face value. I just don't believe that. I don't believe what you're saying is true. I don't think that federal officers are randomly targeting people on the street. I think that in the case of illegal immigration, we need a solution. And Trump is the only president that's been willing to actually take action on this. And it doesn't make you
Obama
feel
deported
good.
more
That's
people
fine.
than Trump did.
Hold on. Excuse me. Trump's the only president that has been taking action on this.
Obama
And
deported more
I
people than Trump did, right?
Excuse me. And it doesn't make you feel good, and I get that.
Obama
But
deported
what's
more
your
people than Trump
solution?
did, right?
What's your
Obama deported.
solution to illegal immigration?
Obama deported more people than Trump did, right?
Yep.
Okay, so were you an Obama fan?
No.
Okay, was Obama good on the border?
No.
Okay, so was Obama good on deportations?
I would say no.
You people are
Because
such
I don't
unprincipled
think-
assholes,
I don't
bro.
think
Holy
that just
shit. No, I'm
deport-
not talking to you. I don't feel like talking to you. You're fucking stupid. Okay, someone else call in. That's so stupid. $37 likes. Please drop likes on the stream. Please consider becoming a patron in the description. Donate to Cash App or Venmo. Draw Up Politics. Thank you for watching. You can call the phone number on the screen. What's that one? Excuse me. Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah, what's up?
Nothing much. How are you?
Nothing. You called me?
Yeah, it's the politics show on YouTube. You called into. Calling you back.
Nah, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. I didn't dial any number.
These people are crazy.
Hello.
Hello, you're on the politics show. What's up?
Stop. So I was just listening last caller, and you hung up because you didn't like how he said about politics, right? How about how he felt about Obama and his deportation? She's 100% right.
No,
You're sitting here
what I said is
that
it's
people-
annoying that Obama deported more people than Trump did, more effectively for deportations. But when Trump won in 2016, everybody said it was because of immigration and because we needed deportations. But then you could say, well, I don't like Obama's deportations.
I agree with the Obama was not a good deporter, but Trump's coming in 2016 was not this. I did not vote for that in 2016 for that. I wanted a different politician in that had no hand in their government. So as far as the deportation goes, Obama, not good. His hands are filthy with money, and they cannot do anything to change my mind.
Wait, what? He just hung up. Okay. Cool. Cool. They just can't say, like, I'm not even pro Obama's immigration. Hello?
Hello.
Howdy, what's up?
Hi. Yeah, I just called in. I figured I'd say hi and put my 2 cents for what it's worth.
Hell yeah, what's up?
Well, see, I don't know. How do you want to do this? Do you want to talk about the current conversations that are going on, or maybe fresh slate?
I don't know. The big stories right now are the young Republican text messages that came out, and also the government shutdown and ICE. Those are the big topics I see.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I don't know much about the first, barely any about the second, but enough to where I can maybe chime in some third. Yeah. You know, I look at it this way. I'm not going to say that I know anybody, but I'll say I know a friend that knows a friend, right? That might help harbor hardworking illegal people, right? Doesn't matter what race, it doesn't matter where they come from. The fact is, I think generally speaking in the country, the divide, or at least the divisiveness that the political parties on each side have, are relatively strong on each argument.
Why
However,
do you need to say illegal people?
because we've taken it away from the context of documented people. See, I might have 3 or 4 ID cards in my wallet. I have no problem showing ID, even
No,
if
but
I
like, you didn't say
constitutionally
illegal
don't have to.
immigration. You said illegal people. Like the people themselves are the illegal thing. Like them, they are illegal. They are an illegal. They're not a person. They're an illegal.
So the reason I say it that way is there are in the same context folks that took their time, actually went through the process, and are here with
No, no, no. Okay, no,
identification.
no, no. I'm not asking why you think something is illegal immigration or illegal immigration. I'm saying why do you call the people themselves illegal people, not illegal immigrants? You call them illegal people. Is that on purpose or?
No, I should bite my tongue. That sounds disrespectful. Actually, I would try to maybe backstep that a little bit. That's not what I
Yeah, like
should say.
we don't call Trump an illegal person, or we don't call someone who speeds an illegal person, or all of us have sped or jaywalked or something in our life. We're not
Yes.
illegal.
Fair point. Fair point. I think
Okay.
within the context of the conversation was more along the lines of, are you someone that has gone through the due process, is paying taxes, and is contributing on a level where you're part of the census, you're not part of the unknown. So not illegal, but just we're uncertain, and therefore it causes these kind of waves in a very small pond that cause tsunamis for the anthills next to the pond, right? And we're trying to make colonies, trying to make communities, trying to build, even so much as to say, bring some value without having to hide it, having to work just for cash under the table in order to support your family, or in order to kind of stay mm, stay out of the limelight until you might be able to get a visa or something like that. I'm totally for naturalization. If you're here, my humble opinion, if you're here, you should have a chance. You shouldn't have to hide.
Well, here's
Now,
my
that's where
overall issue with what's happening right now is that Trump is calling to denaturalize people. They want to remove birthright citizenship unconstitutionally. You could have that opinion, but they want to remove it and violate the Constitution. ICE right now, the right infringement they are doing for American citizens is bad enough, in my opinion, to justify getting rid of ICE as an agency and giving the responsibilities to other places in DHS and other areas of the government, because they are terrorizing American citizens right now. And that's why I focus on the language of illegal people. Because if you want to talk about the legal system of immigration, we can, but Trump never talks about that. He talks about how immigrants are here to rape people and kill people and assault people and to poison our blood, or they're going to be working on farms or for one of his hotels. So when people say illegal people, I do genuinely believe they're trying to create a subclass of humans that are called illegals, illegal aliens, who we can mistreat and do whatever we want to. And they even call, like Charlie Kirk called American citizens legal foreign invaders. So I just don't like and all the people in chat that are Republicans are saying, like, no, they are illegal people. Like, no, you would never talk about any other law violation as if that is a illegal person. that we could just throw an alligator Alcatraz. That's my big concern right now. Is they're enacting policies that threaten my freedom. They threaten my neighbor's freedom before we even get to treating immigrants right. I think this is an attack on the Constitution, my constitutional rights as well, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it does. And like I really came off stage. I came off stage. mm, I didn't come off the stage the right way, right? That's the foot in the mouth, and I would speak probably from a Republican disposition on that. Yeah, we're kind of saying that as a blanket statement, but it's intellectually ineffective and it sounds ignorant. So for that, no, I do retract that. The bottom line up front is I I see people out there suffering that they don't really have a chance to find work that is something they can build a true career without becoming an entrepreneur, right? They're not in a position where they are. I'm not going to say they're not educated, but I find it hard pressed for them to be able to get a good chance, a good start while they're here. So I definitely don't agree with, just kind of kick them out, round them up. This isn't like, this isn't, husbandry and farming. This is real human lives, and I think that defeats the spirit and the purpose of this country is to go ahead and, have a piece of grace for those that they made it here. If they are truly, dangerous people, that's a different situation. We have NSA, we have three letter agencies that can kind of keep an eye on things, right? They don't have to, go in there, and, kicking doors down, detaining, people just based on what they look like or what they might think. There needs to be a balance, and we have yet to come to those agreements across the board, regardless. Like, even with Obama, hey, sure, as a president, you have to make hard choices, and sometimes you're going to have to deport people when you have a large number of people come in year after year after year, regardless of the administration and what you're going to do. Let's face it, building the wall is not necessarily the solution. It's just maybe the next best thing since sliced bread trying. But let's face it, they got tunnels. There's all kinds of networks to find your way to, the land of the land of the free, home of the brave.
Yeah, but Trump's message is that we need to beat up any brown person in America. And I'm very confident in that now after what ICE is doing to American citizens. Like there's one example, there's many examples, but one in Chicago where this Latina woman was adopted at a young age. And she's an American citizen, born in Illinois, I'm pretty sure. And the ICE agents hopped out of their random car, no masking on. They did not identify themselves whatsoever, said no names, gave no cause. They detained her. They were asking for her papers, which, if you're brown in America right now, you need to carry passports, which is something that white people don't need to do in America. And I don't use words like white privilege, but that is a very big privilege right now that we don't need to do that or be under threat. Because everyone that I know who is Latino needs to do that now because ICE is just detaining people. Now, this woman in Chicago, her last name is like Gilly or something. And they looked at her passport, looked at her credit cards, looked at her insurance information and her wallet, and they told her, "We don't think you look like a Gilly because she's Latina." And that's happening all over America right now because ICE agents are racially profiling, and even with the Supreme Court, and they're called Kavanaugh stops for that reason, because Kavanaugh said like it's not a big deal to profile someone over their speech or their race or whatever else it might be. But I see major constitutional violations, and then not only like in this woman's story, but also it's the whole logic of if there's someone across the street who they accuse of being here illegally, or they say to me, "We think you're harboring an illegal immigrant," they can now blow up my door and suffer no repercussion whatsoever. And I think that's a huge violation of the Constitution. And there's no attempt whatsoever at all for Trump or the Trump admin or his supporters to fix the actual immigration system. It's all about just like deporting record high scores of people. And most of the people they're deporting have been here on visas that may be expired, or they came here under a civil violation, which is the same level of violation as like driving 5 miles over the speed limit. But they're talking about it as if these people are terrorists in America, and that's really scary language.
And that's super dangerous. I'll start kind of roll back a little bit. You put a little bit out there for me to kind of chew on. What really gets me worried right off the cuff, unidentified anybody that's
Hmm.
claiming to be someone of authority, right? That
Yeah.
is a big no-no. In my book, in anybody's book. If look, I, you know, I can conceal carry, I can open carry. I went through the process, right? I'm not saying that that's a privilege. However, I didn't commit crimes to the point where I'm not due those privileges, but it is a privilege. But at the same time, it's a law, and we have
Hmm.
laws here. So if someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, I'm so and so, but I'm not going to tell you who I really am. I have a mask. You need to get up out the car." I'm going to say, "Hey, you only have one or two ways this is going to go. You're going to tell me who you are and why you're detaining me, or I'm going to defend myself, right? Whether or not it involves lethal force." And that's another liability accountability issue for any administration, regardless of who the sitting president is. And this is one of the few times I think that I bleed from both my left and right arms here, right? Because our ICE employees, if they are legitimate people, should at least have a badge, right? Something that isn't faked, that you can at least show, look, yeah, we're legit. Don't shoot me because I'm thinking I might have to. But at the same time, they got families to feed. They're on a payroll. They don't want, as you start peeling the layers of the onion, getting deeper into the cartels and other things that control the finances and the folks that are potentially criminal, and it's really a very delicate balance. I wouldn't want my family, if I was ICE, or if someone I knew, hey, they're good people, they're just trying to do what they're told to do. Doesn't matter who the sitting president is. This is the orders, like the military, right? That's simple. So I don't know, man.
I guess like every Republican I spoke to, basically, because there's already examples of people posing as ICE. There's a really scary video of these people with
Oh man.
maskings on, assaulting a woman, dragging her out of her home, and you can't fight back because they could just say they're ICE. And it's
Right.
not left or right. Like Trump is a fascist. He is very far right. Or ultra nationalist, but that's a more academic term. They're authoritarian. So like a lot of Bush Republicans had to become never Trumpers as a result of even, I mean, they talk about Ronald Reagan as if, like, imagine the Democrats' stance towards immigration today is probably more conservative than Ronald Reagan's. If Ronald Reagan was alive today and proposing mass amnesty for all the people that he did, he'd be called a communist who wants to bring radical invaders in America to guarantee Democrats elections forever because he hates America and he loves illegal terrorists or whatever. And the Republican Party is so far from Reagan because they're not really conservatives. They are a cult personality. And yeah, I mean, for ICE agents, I don't want there to be federal agents unless if you're going after cartel cells, which they're not. They're going after college kids for student visas, and they're going after daycares and elementary schools and high schools and Home Depots and all this other stuff. And most Americans are against that. But I don't think most Americans will stand up against that until it comes to their front door. Like I
Bingo.
don't
You
know,
nailed it. Yeah,
but
that's
yeah.
actually, it's sort of unfortunate, but um I would say that it makes more sense for people to remain calm and kind of, you know, make your educated guess based on the resources and the research that you put into either politics or what you just see happening in your local communities. Don't take everything face value on social media. That's been a long time coming for a long, long time, guys and gals, and everybody else out there that we've been allowed a long time to play with this technology called the internet, right? And it's really up to us as individuals to find your truth and your movement for what you believe in. And we shouldn't be shot at, killed for having conversations like this. And that's why another reason I appreciate your channel, and a number of others out there, that are kind of, they're standing up, put your face out there. Hey, take some calls. You're gonna get a lot of goons and uncivilized conversations at times, but ultimately, I still do support Trump. And at the end of the day, I, I would say I do because there's not really a better option yet, and that's really the weakest answer I can possibly say. But if I said anything else, I'd be a liar, and I'm not going to let that happen. So
No, I
ultimately,
appreciate your honesty. I would just say that if I was a Democrat and Joe Biden was publicly telling different television broadcast stations that we're going to take away your license if you don't kick Greg Gutfeld on Fox News off the air, I would not be voting for Democrats anymore. I would not do that.
You
Or
know,
if they were saying we should be
same with gun
using,
control.
well, Trump using the Texas National Guard to invade Chicago, that's a bigger threat to our freedoms than someone who wants more gun control. And by the way, Biden listened to all the courts on any gun regulation. He passed bipartisan bills with Republicans to help community safety and mental health funding that Trump is now holding back. So like, it's not like Biden took the guns, and it just like at this point, Pam Bondi is now making a registry of all gun owners in America to track everyone, and no one's caring because Trump's the one that's doing it. So people who are very pro Second Amendment, and I also talked to Trump supporters, like very heavy Trump supporters, and I asked them, hey buddy, if you have a Second Amendment and you can defend your home, and an unidentified person was knocking on your door trying to rip it open, and they want to take your wife and kids out in zip ties, and that alone, people need to understand how horrifying that shit is. Like, imagine having your little kid ripped away from your arms. You did nothing wrong. You're an American citizen. And these unidentified agents want to just take your kid. Like, what the hell? I'd be defending my kid. I know you said you'd be defending them, but many Trump supporters I've spoken to, probably 99% of them, said if they come to my front door, then I can't shoot them. They might be federal agents. And I'm like, at that point, you don't have a Second Amendment, because anybody could just claim to be anybody. At that point, you don't have a Second Amendment at all. You could just have your house raided. But they will let it happen because their guy's in office and their guy's the one doing it, and it's really, really scary. But functionally, yeah, you don't have a Second Amendment if that's the standard.
So you had touched on kind of pulling funding from certain programs, right? And before we go back, it's kind of like putting a manhole cover on a volcano. It doesn't matter what administration it is. You can't stop the eruption, right? It's already, the damage is done. Damage control is probably less than effective. Let's face it, though, we're 37 plus trillion dollars in debt in this country. And that's a very dangerous situation that we're in.
Well,
No
I
matter
don't
which
think you
political
believe
side.
that. I don't think you believe that.
I do. I not
Well,
just
like,
believe it, but what happens when it comes time for us to actually pay back? We
no, but
can't
like
keep paying the interest
Democrats are
game.
far better on the deficit than Republicans are. They always have been. Like Reagan was terrible on it, Bush was terrible on it, Trump was terrible on it, Obama brought it down, Biden brought it down, and Bill Clinton ran a surplus. Like when it comes
And
to
yet here
debt,
we
like,
are, still in debt. And
yeah, but
maybe
Republicans are
the
worse
idea of,
on it. If your number one issue is debt,
okay,
Democrats are far better on debt, on our national debt.
I don't know much about this part of it, so I'll be kind
Yeah,
of
look up the numbers, call in again. I promise you,
ambiguous.
you'll see it. And for like job creation, Democrats create 40 jobs for every one job Republicans create. These are actual facts. Everyone can Google as well. You can
The
see the
way I
graph
look
go
at
up
it
and down.
too, the more people we immigrate, legally or otherwise, are adding potential jobs to this country. I find that a positive
Yeah, they
vibe.
decrease our national debt too. Immigrants decrease our national debt.
Yep, and I do know that. I do understand that part because there's going to be jobs where people aren't really going to want to have to get their hands dirty on certain things, especially those that aren't skilled. For example, I might have bad allergies, but I have all of this resources to make a lawn care business. But I can't make it 20 minutes out there. I'm getting blown away by my pollen and whatever, right? So I end up spending more time sneezing and miserable than I'm actually able to do my job. So there's others out there that are very good at that kind of stuff. They could become entrepreneur. That would be the American dream. Everyone has an opportunity here, and I think, and I truly believe that's why. We should be careful with those that are here already, and only monitor as they always have been. They meaning three-letter agencies. Let's not make it up. It is what it is. It's happening, and the technologies possibly half the battle why people are given phones as they cross the border and other resources to have a chance. Otherwise, if you're committing crimes, you're going to get busted. If you're if you came from a jail from a different country and somehow made it here, you're probably on a wanted list. I mean, I can't change that.
I mean, that doesn't. That's the issue, though, is that when it comes to crime rate, I'm sure you've heard the argument that American citizens do far more crime than immigrants do, because immigrants are either pretty wealthy and they're very well educated, or they had to fight their way here, or walk 30 days, or whatever it might be. to get to America. The one thing I'll say before you end here is just I had this conversation the other night. Um, every Trump supporter that talks to me about immigration, they always bring up this hotel in New York. They bring up these apartment buildings in Chicago, or sorry,
Hmm.
Colorado. They bring up
Right.
Lake and Riley.
I got you.
And I've
Hmm.
said before that it's annoying that I've had probably 50 to 100 calls where conservatives bring up those exact points and they say 25 million people came to America and they're destructive for our country. And I'm like, you realize if 25 million people invaded America, which is like 5 or 6 times higher than the actual number, but they need to lie about it because if they tell the truth, it won't be nearly as scary. But if that was really such an issue, all these Trump supporters across the country would have more than just the same topics Fox News covered when it comes to immigration. And they really don't have that example. And my big issue is that we're focusing on this when the real issue by far is the consolidation of power with the ultra wealthy, with AI taking over everything, having a mass surveillance system, and no one's even talking about it because we're spending all of our
Hmm.
time talking about immigration and trans people,
It's a great point.
and we're losing our freedoms. And I think an accumulation of wealth and government authoritarian power with unidentified federal agents alone is a much bigger threat to freedom than a random person crossing the border could ever be for me. But I'll give you the final word on this. Thank you for calling.
Hey, you know what? This was a very productive call. I think that there are. I'll leave it with there are two reasons I called. One, because it's healthy for us to be able to talk about these things and actually come to some kind of common ground without having it. How did I hear this time and time again? Oh, we'll agree to disagree. If that's the case, then one or the other or both are closed-minded enough to even have the conversation. And the other thing is, I really applaud the fact that you have the bravery to at least open up in in the free world, putting your face on the camera and taking time to, kind of maybe find opportunity for us to actually have these kind of conversations. So, I really hope that, you know, whatever happens to this great country that we are in, is also sets a better standard for the rest of the world, since it seems like the United States seems to kind of keep it in check, but it shouldn't always have to be by breaking in doors and kicking other countries up, beating other countries up, and trying to keep the peace with force. So I'll give it back to you, and that's my final. Hey,
All right, awesome. Appreciate the call. Yeah, hope to see you around again. Have a great night.
hey, you too. Cheers.
All right, see ya. Have a good one. All right, guys, I'm gonna head to bed. Thank you for watching for my 45 minutes, 15 minutes to I'm almost at an hour. My TikTok got a strike on it, and I don't know how many strikes I can get before I get kicked out of the one program. But it's very annoying because I did nothing wrong. Like, I did nothing wrong at all on this. I don't know. It's whatever, dude. It's whatever. I don't know. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great night, guys. You could debate me tomorrow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Join Discord. No, it's not copyright. It's because I said the word Adolf Hitler, and they flagged me for hateful content, as I'm like so dumb. How many people have called for an actual argument? I don't know, dude. Go on my YouTube page. My last video is an actual argument. If you want to see a fiery conversation, fiery. I had a good conversation with a Trump supporter last night. He rage quit. He rage quit the conversation. He did rage quit. I recommend you watch that video on my channel, my latest video. It's called Trump voter rage quits mid-call, refuses facts. Okay. LOL. Yeah, it's a real fire behind me. Super real. Alright, have a good night, guys. Is my Discord link not good? Is it broken? Thank you, Siri. I didn't know it wasn't working. Alright, here we go. Fixing it. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the updates. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you guys have a great night. Appreciate you watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Become a patron. Become a patron, guys. On my Patreon down below. Alright, see you guys. You can call in tomorrow. You're getting lazy, quitting already. Keep fighting the good fight. We with you. You can see I'm depressed. I'm hopping on. I'm hopping on Xbox if you're gonna be on. I'm trying to see you there. See you there. I swear to God, if TikTok bans me over some bullshit, bro, my latest TikTok has, bro. My latest TikTok has 200. Where is it at? 213,000 views. Like, if they ban me over bullshit, I'm gonna be so mad, bro. Some direct bullshit. It's crazy that they would do this. At least, yeah, I don't know. Alright, have a good night, guys. Hey, if you want me to stay on longer, you guys can become a... You see me on 2K every day on my Discord. $10. There's a grift started by compromised TYT and former TYT affiliates such as Hassan, wait, Vosh? Calling critical thinkers blue MAGA to gaslight people's ability to think critically. Well, Vosh is better than they are. Vosh is far better than they are. But there is a whole thing with like Taylor Lorenz. Thank you for $10, by the way. There's a whole thing with Taylor Lorenz and them. They're very just like, I don't know. They'll just say, "Oh, you're getting paid to say that." If they don't like your opinion, you're getting paid to say that. All right, guys, have a good night.